Kevin Owens injured, out injured with an injured neck. He's going to be out indefinitely. Obviously missing WrestleMania. He told the story on SmackDown how he was injured back in January, didn't know it would be as bad as it was. Otherwise, I would think he probably wouldn't have worked that ladder match with Cody Rhodes at the Rumble, or that unsanctioned street fight with Sami Zayn back in Elimination Chamber. He has definitely been put through the ringer. His body has been in the last month or so. But he's missing WrestleMania, which means the match with Randy Orton is off. That then begs the question, who does Randy Orton now face at WrestleMania instead? He did lay out Nick Aldis on SmackDown with an impromptu RKO. Not the first time he's done that. He actually did that when Nick Aldis first became SmackDown GM back in late 2023. And the following week, when Orton gave him the fine money, it was $50,000 that he was fined. Orton gave him a check or an envelope of $100,000. And Aldis said, "Why'd you give me $100,000 instead of $50,000?" Orton said, "That's for the next one, too." Now, he did not RKO him immediately. That was a year and a half ago. I don't know if they did that with that in mind on Friday, but I thought that was nice little long-term storytelling, whether it be on purpose or not. So, again, with all that being said, is it Aldis and Orton at WrestleMania? And if not, who is it? Is it Rusev, Malachi Black, someone from NXT? There was a few chat mentions earlier of who else it could be from the SmackDown roster. Carmelo Hayes doesn't have a Mania match. He's not facing Orton. They already did that match recently, and Orton beat him clean. They're not doing that. But I think Rusev, Malachi, Aldis all come to mind as potential options. Other people from NXT or the main roster that currently don't have matches at Mania. Who would you like to see face Randy Orton at WrestleMania this year?
I want Nick Aldis. I've been yearning to have Nick Aldis in the ring. I think if it was Aleister Black, it would be cool, but like, what, would Aleister Black beat him? I don't think he would beat him.
I think if you were to have Rusev or Aldis, or not, well, Aldis can lose. That's totally fine. I think if Black or Rusev are in there, and here's the other thing too, would you set that up as an impromptu match? Because other people have asked, like on hashtag on Tuesday, is it like a Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins Mania 39 situation or 38 situation where Rollins has an open challenge, which they did not announce until the week of, by the way. The whole story with Rollins on the road to WrestleMania that year was that he had no Mania match. Mm-hmm. And he complained to Vince, and they put that in like a little video package, and then that week they said, oh yeah, it's going to be an open challenge. They did not know that a month in advance. We had speculated that, but it wasn't really confirmed until the week of. WWE themselves may not have known. Maybe Cody Rhodes didn't, sign on the dotted line yet. But regardless, he didn't have a Mania match that year, and that's what happened. Is that what happens here as well? I feel like that would be too similar, although that's the open challenges always work. I would probably just go all this because the history is there.
I mean, if they did the same thing that they did with Cody and Seth that they did at the Mania in Dallas, it would be fine, but the problem is I don't think Randy and Aleister Black would have good chemistry, like in terms of doing a feud. So they would just have to do like some sort of one-off match, and then I don't even know if you would have Aleister Black beat him, because I don't know if they would value like him as the same level as Randy Orton. I mean, I think he's great, but I don't know where they see him in there yet. When they do eventually bring him in. But I also just think it would be a better story if you do like him and Nick Aldis. It would be more interesting to me because I think those two have a lot more chemistry than someone like him and Rusev or him and like Aleister Black.
Yeah, I think those matches could be good. He's faced Rusev a lot in the past. He actually beat Rusev in, I think, maybe 10 seconds at SummerSlam 2017. He just completely fucking buried him. And that wasn't an Orton thing. WWE was trying to bury Rusev at that point. That was the beginning of Rusev Day. Rusev got over in spite of the company. And they had a rematch the following month, and Orton beat him again. But anyway, so I think Rusev could work. Rusev or Black would have to win. And here's the issue, and this is why I think it should be Aldis. Aldis does not have to win, first of all. Second of all, we know he can work. Third of all, there's history there. Fourth of all, I feel like it would be a good match. Mm-hmm. Fifth of all, he definitely keeps himself in shape. I mean, he hasn't wrestled in about a year or two. I think his last match... I mean, he's done some indie stuff.
I feel like they're very similar in terms of their, like, wrestling personas.
Yeah, Nick Aldis was kind of like the Orton of... it was a knockoff Authority. It was not good. But, like, when Dixie Carter led a stable in TNA, Nick Aldis was like their Randy Orton of that stable. So I feel like there's some similarities there as well. And sixth of all, there's a lot of reasons why I think you should do this. But most importantly, honestly, Orton has to win. If he was facing Kevin Owens at Mania, he was going to win. He was going to punt him in the head, and that was going to be it. The fact that he did not punt Orton, or rather Owens, on SmackDown means they'll probably revisit that down the road, and Owens comes back, and he will. But here's the big thing. Backlash, as we all know, and as we talked about before with Mr. Marceau here on the show, and again, send in some chats, and depending on who you want to see Orton face at Mania. Backlash is going to be in St. Louis, Orton's hometown. On that show, hopefully, Cena wins the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. On that show, I think it's got to be Cena and Orton. We've talked a lot about this match. When does it happen? Is it Cena's last match? You got to do Orton-Cena one last time. I think, honestly, the time for it to make the most sense is at Backlash. That headlines that show. I know Orton's advertised for that show. They've announced him, and they've also advertised John Cena. We don't know how many shows John Cena is going to be at. If he wins the championship at Mania, and that's not even a guarantee. If he does, then we don't know if he's going to be at Money in the Bank or at Clash of the Castle, whatever shows they have between Mania and SummerSlam. But we know he's going to be at Backlash. Take advantage of that by doing Cena and Orton. You can't have Orton lose to Black at Mania and then go on to challenge for the championship 3 or 4, not even 4 weeks. It's like a 3-week difference between Mania and Backlash. April 19th, 20th, and then May 10th. That's a very quick turnaround time. There's not a whole lot of time to build up a fresh match for John Cena. Unless they run back Cody and Cena at Backlash, which I think that'd be way too soon.
Yeah.
I think, Nick, all this makes the most sense because, again, the history's there. That doesn't need a big build. I would like it if it got a bigger build, but it's fine. You have 2 weeks to tell this story.
It would be different, too. It would be something different. I don't remember the last time they did something like this, where they had, like, the GM feud with a wrestler and then, like, go into a WrestleMania match.
I mean, they've done that before, but, like, I mean, it gives me shades of when William Regal was the GM, and he was wrestling, and he won King of the Ring while he was Raw GM, and that's how we got into wrestling, so, I mean...
No, I know they've done that before. It's not a new concept, but, like, as far as when I've been watching consistently, I haven't seen that.
Lately, especially, they have not done it, because Adam Pearce has not wrestled in WWE at all. Nick Aldis has not wrestled in WWE, and then before then, they didn't really have GMs. You know, Corbin was, like, the constable, and he was wrestling back in 2018. First of all, that was terrible, and second of all, he wasn't the GM, but he was, like, the assistant GM or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And that sucked. But that was years ago. That was also 2018, 2019, so it's been a long time. I think Aldis and Orton makes the most sense. That's the match that I would do at WrestleMania. Other random choices, I mean, Rey Fenix, they just brought him in on SmackDown before Mania. Why not wait until after Mania? Well, there's a chance he ends up on the Mania card. Is it Fenix and Orton in a random match at Mania? Yeah, I mean, Orton can win that. I wouldn't do that necessarily, but that is an option.
I wouldn't do that.
Solo Sikoa has no Mania match as of now. Absolutely fucking not. Him and Braun Strowman makes no sense. That would be random, so no. You're not going to put Orton in the fucking Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on the SmackDown before Mania. So I feel like those are the options that just make the most sense.